Hey everyone, Nick Dearbertis here, teaching you financial modeling. Today I'm here to talk about the syllabus and expectations for the course. So let's go ahead and go over to the syllabus. So, um, first thing to note on here is the textbook. So the textbook here, I'm recommending Simon Beninga's financial modeling book. Now, an important thing to note about this book is it is Excel only. I have not yet been able to find a good Python financial modeling book. Maybe I'll ultimately end up writing that book. But for now, this is kind of the best that we have for the course. Now, certainly this textbook is not required. I would generally only recommend it if you're someone who learns well just from reading a textbook and you also don't have a ton of Excel experience, or you're not, super familiar with the finance, because the book is helpful for the Excel side of things and just generally how to go about building the model. But it's not really going to help you at all as far as the Python side beyond knowing generally what goes into the model. So certainly don't feel the need to purchase that unless you fall into that category. As far as your computer, the main requirement for the class is having a computer that can run Microsoft Excel. Either Mac or Windows is fine. Though I'm a Windows and Linux user, so I haven't used Mac very much, and so I won't be able to help as much on any kind of operating system specific issues that you may have using a Mac. But certainly it works for all the course material just fine, and many students have gone through the course using a Mac before. So, the general idea of this course is that we are covering generally how to build a financial model, not necessarily, here's the 10 different types of models, let's learn all the steps to complete each of those models. It's more about a general process and the skills required to build any financial model. So my goal is to give you these skills and patterns and ideas so that you go on the job and they ask you to build a model for a situation where it's not just your standard like fill in some template. It's a custom model that you have to tailor to the situation. You'll be ready to go and do that. So that's the idea here, is to give more real world kind of experience and skills to be able to do this all on your own out in the workforce. And the two tools that we're going to focus on to implement these models are Excel and Python. And I want to note that this class is definitely hard. I have heard time and time again from people that it's the hardest course they took at University of Florida. But I've also heard just as many people say that it's the most rewarding class that they took, that they got the most out of it, they got the most tangible skills and results out of it. So, don't come into this course just, saying I need an elective, I just need to fill the slot. Only come into this course if you're truly interested in financial modeling and you're willing to work hard to be able to implement all of the projects and learn all the concepts and skills. Because definitely, if you're not someone that's coming in with programming experience, which I assume that most people don't, but if you aren't, you have your work cut out for you, certainly. So it's not an easy course. Don't take it lightly. I'm here to help you along the way. I want to give you all the support that I can so that you can learn this stuff. But it is not an easy course by any means. And coming to the prerequisites for the course, so minimum business finance, but even further, I would recommend that you have taken the debt and money markets course, the equity and capital markets course, kind of the core finance courses. because we really are focusing on how to build the models. We really don't have time in the course to really cover the finance concepts. So you should be coming in with strong knowledge in the concepts so that we can focus just on the actual model. And if you are missing some of these skills and knowledge, then I can recommend you some resources where you can fill the gaps. But generally, I would recommend that you have these 3 courses, even though the minimum requirement is only business finance. So coming to technical skills, certainly you're going to need algebra, which is true for mostly any finance class, just to be able to, manipulate equations that are within the models. But further than that, you need to have some Excel experience coming in. I'm assuming that the typical student coming in is at an intermediate level with Excel and has 0 Python experience. So that's kind of the average I'm trying to teach to. So if you're someone coming in without any Excel experience or with a small amount of Excel experience, I listed a few categories of skills that you should make sure that you understand and can apply. So just go ahead and take a look at that list on the syllabus and make sure that you can do all these things in Excel and you feel comfortable with them. And if not, I have some resources at the end of the syllabus that you can look through and fill in your gaps in knowledge on these categories. And you can feel free to ask me any questions along the way. If you're someone that has programming or Python experience, that's wonderful. You're going to have definitely less of a learning curve in the beginning of the course, but those are definitely not a requirement. I'm assuming no experience with programming or Python. So the class, we have 3 parts to the class: the lecture videos like you're watching right now, but then we're also going to have 2 more interactive components of the class. So they're going to be lecture review sessions and interactive lab sessions. So the lecture review sessions are about giving you an opportunity to ask questions from the lecture, and as a group. That way, you can see everyone else's questions as well. And that way we still kind of get the interactive lecture experience, even though the lectures are recorded. So those lecture review sessions will also be recorded. So we'll have posted after the sessions, then we'll have everyone's questions and the answers to those questions so that you can go through those and make sure that you understand everything. And then the interactive lab sessions, that's about giving you a time for everyone to be on a call and for people to be working on the problems for the class. So whether that's the weekly assignments, or if you get through all those, then you can work towards the projects as well. But it's just giving you an opportunity where you can discuss things with your classmates, and you can ask me questions as well. So I'm making my time available so that I'm a resource for you as you go to complete the problems. Certainly it helps a lot, especially in programming. If you're stuck on something, just to have someone knowledgeable to just point you in the right direction, it can really save you a lot of time. So these lab sessions are very valuable, and you should definitely take advantage of those. As far as the projects in the course, that's the main grade in the course, is the projects. And so it's going to be relatively larger projects. You definitely want to allow yourself plenty of time to complete them. This is definitely where all the difficulty in the course comes in, is being able to learn enough of the skills to be able to complete these projects. So the projects are fairly open-ended. They just give you a certain problem that you need to create a model for. And then it's up to you how you want to actually go and create that model. So it's not just going to be like here's how to do A, B, C. Okay, now in the project, do A, B, and C with different numbers. No, that's not it at all. It's going to be a completely different model, and you're learning a general pattern that you can then apply to any new situation. And as far as who you should be working with on the project, so ultimately the projects are individual. Everyone is going to submit their own project, and you should not be copying each other's work. That means don't copy workbooks, don't copy code, and don't just sit there and do the exact same things next to each other. Now, I do want to encourage you that you can still discuss things. You can talk through the problems with your classmates. I don't want you to have to go this completely alone. So definitely don't feel like I'm saying, you can't talk about the projects at all. You can definitely talk about them and kind of discuss your approaches and challenges and how you've solved, certain parts of it. Just don't, give someone the guide to completely go through the thing. The idea is that everyone should be completing their own projects so that everyone is getting the full learning experience. And so a lot of this course is going to be asking me questions. I'm here as a resource for you to make sure that whenever you have a doubt, I can come in and make everything clear. So the lecture review sessions, those are those group video calls where you'll be able to ask questions and have the whole class participate in that. And it'll be more generalized concepts and techniques at that point. Lab sessions are more about the problems. You're working on a problem and you have a specific issue trying to complete that problem. Then I can help you out, either one-on-one or one or me with just a small group of you. And then you can email me and I'll email you back, or we can make an appointment for a video call if necessary, if we need a longer format to discuss something in more detail, or you're not able to attend some of the other sessions. And I just want to say, before you ask questions, make sure that you've watched any of the relevant lectures, because if your question is just directly something that was covered in the lecture, I'm just going to say, go watch that lecture video. It covers this well. As far as the late policy, you can submit the projects late, but it's 10% off per day for each day that it's late, and that 10% kicks in as soon as you miss the deadline. So the deadlines are by midnight. So if it's due Wednesday by midnight, then if you turn it in Thursday morning till the 1 a.m., you would be losing 10%, which I think is a pretty generous policy, 10% per day, because in the work world you often will not be given any latitude. If you just don't hit your deadline, you could get fired. So I think this is quite the accommodative policy. So what should you do to be successful here? I definitely, unless you're someone who's coming in with programming experience or Python experience, definitely you should take some time to do some outside learning on Python. As I said, I am assuming everyone is coming in with no experience, but this is not a programming class. This is not a Python class. It's a financial modeling class. And so we can only spend so much time on the basics of programming in Python. And so we'll go kind of quickly through those, and to be able to get a better treatment of them so that you really understand what's going on, which will make it that much easier to learn throughout the course, you should definitely use some outside resources. And I've put those resources at the end of the syllabus. So definitely in the past, students who utilize those outside resources just had so much of an easier time in the course because they weren't getting tripped up on just the basics of writing Python code. They kind of had that down, and so they were able to focus on applying it to financial modeling rather than just learning the basics. Definitely you need to watch all the lectures, and the lectures kind of build on each other. If you just try and jump in on the last few before a project is due, you're going to be totally lost because it just keeps building and building. So definitely go through in order. And I would definitely encourage you to participate in the interactive lab sessions. That's huge to be able to work on the problem, get stuck, and then be able to get quick feedback from me. That just makes your cycle so much faster in learning, so that you're not sitting there for hours struggling over something which would be simple for me to answer very quickly. So those lab sessions are very valuable, and students who have utilized those to a greater degree have done better in the course in the past. I will also be giving some practice problems, so I would definitely recommend completing those, and start the projects very early, as soon as you can, because there is a lot of work involved in the projects. And definitely, if there's any point in the course where you start to feel lost, you start to feel behind, you need to come and talk to me. You need to email me, because you cannot afford to get behind in this course. As I said, the material just keeps building. We keep using what we've learned previously to go and do the next thing. So if you get lost, you're only going to get more lost as time goes on. So as soon as you have that feeling, you need to talk to me. I can, give you suggestions to rectify that. So definitely do that, rather than getting lost and then getting behind and then digging yourself into a hole that is very difficult to get out of. So the grading in the class, 80% is these projects and 20% is the lab exercises. So you'll also be turning those lab exercises in weekly, and those are mostly for sort of a completion grade. Though, if I look at it and think that you didn't give a full effort on it, then you're going to lose points on the lab exercise. But otherwise, it doesn't necessarily have to be completely correct, as long as you completed it and gave a good faith effort in the lab exercise. Then you'll get credit for that. But the projects, are completely graded on the basis of, how accurate they are, how readable they are, and how well formatted they are. You can see the grading scale here, so take a look at that for any details on that, as well as other grading policies. You can review the syllabus. And so the main topics that we're covering, so the first is kind of the intro section, and then we're going to focus mainly on corporate valuation in this course. So in the intro section, after an overview, we're going to go into learning the basic technical skills with Excel and Python. And the first model that we're going to cover is a time value of money model, looking at saving for retirement. So that should be, very tangible for everybody. And I think it's an excellent place to start, where we can focus on the model, and the finance part of it should come easily for everybody, since it's a basic finance concept. Then we'll go into some statistics tools that we need for modeling, and we'll learn about Monte Carlo methods, are another general technique in financial modeling. And as far as where we're going to apply all these tools and skills and patterns that we learn in the first part of the course, we're going to look at a capital budgeting situation. And then after that, we're ultimately going to work towards the full discounted cash flow valuation of a stock. So that is everything, getting the weighted average cost of capital, estimating the free cash flows, and putting that all together into one model. That will ultimately be the final project in the course, is producing this discounted cash flow valuation. So that's the course, and then I've also included here on the syllabus resources that you can use to again supplement or get started with your Python and Excel skills. So I have Excel as well as Python resources here for you. So again, unless you are already coming in with programming experience, Python experience, and strong Excel experience, I would highly recommend that you take a look at these resources to be able to get an outside perspective and get the basics of these tools so that you can focus more on the financial modeling part of the course. So that is the syllabus. Next time we will come back and talk about what is financial modeling and kind of the introduction to the actual course content. So thanks for listening, and see you next time.